In this module, we're going to configure AI gateway security in Microsoft Foundry. Hi, I am CEO Rodriguez. At the end of this module, you should be able to, one, examine AI gateway architecture, two, the high-level steps of how to create and configure an AI gateway, and three, apply access controls and monitoring. For those of you who may not be very familiar with Microsoft Foundry, let's first go and set the stage and answer the question, what is actually Microsoft Foundry? Microsoft Foundry is Microsoft's unified platform for building, customizing, evaluating, and deploying and monitoring AI applications and agents. It brings together AI models, development, tools, evaluation capabilities, security controls, and operational monitoring within the Azure ecosystem. Organizations can use a Foundry to select models, create prompts and agents, test quality and safety, protect identities and data, and deploy AI solutions into production. From an SC-500 security perspective, Foundry is important because AI workloads must be protected through controls such as Microsoft Entra identities, Azure RBAC, private endpoints, Azure policy, Key Vault monitoring, and responsible AI governance throughout the AI lifecycle. Now, there are several ways in which you can create agents in the Microsoft ecosystem. Microsoft Foundry, Copilot Studio, Agent Builder, and Power Platform, um, you know, are some of those ways, but they serve different levels of AI development capabilities. Microsoft Foundry is the pro code platform for developers building advanced AI applications and agents with custom models, APIs, security, and monitoring. So, just to put in perspective, I want to go through this different ways of creating agents. Then we have Copilot Studio, which is a low-code platform for creating enterprise agents connected to business data, workflows, and services. We have then Agent Builder, which is the basically simplest no-code option for creating lightweight agents inside Microsoft 365 Copilot. And Power Platform is the broader low code ecosystem that includes Power Apps, Power Automate, Power BI, Power Pages, and Copilot Studio. So think of this Agent Builder, Copilot Studio, and then Foundry as increasing complexity. Most of what you would need from an exam perspective can be uh, gotten from this image over here. So AI Gateway is, as we said, Microsoft, or rather the AI Gateway in Microsoft Foundry provides a centralized security layer between applications, AI agents, services, and backend model deployment. It is powered by Azure API Management or APIM, which acts as the enforcement point for authentication, rate limiting, policy application, routing, and diagnostic logging. Instead of allowing every application to interact directly to an AI model using a shared API key, organizations can route all requests through the gateway. This reduces the risk that one compromised application could expose access to every model deployment. So each caller can use its own Microsoft Intra identity or managed identity, allowing the gateway to identify exactly which application or agent is making a request. APIM can then apply color as specific policies, including token quotas and rate limits. This is especially important for autonomous agents, which may generate many model calls during a single interaction and potentially consume excessive model capacity. As a matter of fact, so when I took my CompTIA Sec AI Plus certification exam, there were a lot of questions about rate limiting and cost. And so the API, rather the gateway in Microsoft Foundry, it's one way of controlling rate limiting and cost. AI Gateway also improves visibility and auditing. Request metadata such as caller identity, timestamps, token usage, response codes, and latency can be sent to Azure Monitor and Log Analytics. Security teams can then use KQL queries, dashboards, alerts, and investigations to monitor AI traffic. The result is a stronger identity-based security, predictable resource consumption, centralized policy enforcement, and complete audit trail. This image shows how AI Gateway controls model capacity at the project level by assigning independent tokens per minute or TPM or TPN as it's called. The document analysis project, for example, receives 50,000 TPM. Regulatory research receives 30,000 TPM, and the customer chatbot receives 20,000 TPM. Each project shares the same model deployment but operates within its own allocation, preventing one workload from consuming all available capacity. If a project exceeds its TPM rate limit, the gateway returns 429 too many requests. It's the error that you would get. If it exhausts its total quota for the configure period, it returns 403 forbidden. So this creates a predictable, isolated, and enforceable AI resource consumption. Before we get into the Microsoft Foundry portal and look at how at a high level how this would work. So remember that Microsoft Foundry is mostly used by developers. It's not something that generally the cybersecurity engineer or the IT admin would kind of control. It's more like a development tool. But I think that it's important to understand how all these things work. Besides, it would be easier for you to answer questions related to any of these topics by understanding how this works. So again, AI Gateway in Microsoft Foundry provides a centralized security layer between applications, agents, services, and AI model deployments powered by Azure API management. It validates colors, applies routing policies, enforces token limits, and controls diagnostic data before requests um, reach the model. Let's now get into the portal and at least have a high level view how this works. This is the Microsoft Foundry portal. You can get here by going to ai.azure.com. So when you get um, to this portal, first of all, you see here the different models, and you can uh, you can make model selections if you're going to create a project. Here you also see the API key for this project, the project endpoints, Azure OpenAI endpoints, and all that kinds of stuff. And again, so this is the place where you build your agents. And notice how there's a lot of different models. So within Microsoft Foundry, you can choose different models, whether it is Claude or GPT. Um, my image 2.5, that's Microsoft own model. So Microsoft is creating its own model, but you can even choose DeepSeek and all that stuff. And here you see an overview of recent work and what you've been working on. There's a lot of documentations and stuff like that, and you can choose between agents. If you have created any agents, that would be here, and then here would be all those models. So that's basically what we're talking about now. When if you go into we're going to come back over here in the build for the next lesson, but if we go into, let's say, so we're going to be looking at the build, the operate and manage. But if we look at the manage section, let's take a look at this. So when you click on one of these, then you get a menu here with information about the things that you can manage, right? And so you have details about the project you're working on, the project endpoint that we talked about, the parent, the resource, right? The location, the resource group. All of these are stuff that you need in Azure, to connect and to put all these things together when you're working and connecting these things in the Microsoft ecosystem. Um, and here you can look at the quarters. We were talking about this a minute ago. The token per minute that you want to, you can, control, assign. Here we have the provision throughput. Again, you don't really need to know these things in detail, to pass the certification exam. So I'm just showing this because when you hear it talk about all these concepts, it makes sense when you can see, where they come from. So here we have this AI gateway component that we have discussed, and here is a sample of a gateway that I just created. And so if you click on that, then you have some details about this, some information, whether it is the subscription ID, the resource group, the location where you created this. And we were talking about and a whole bunch of other information, your subscription, but we were also talking about token management. And this is where you would control those tokens that I was discussing. Anyway, so a lot of information. And we're not going to go deep into this because, as I said before, this is more of a development environment, and you don't really need to know all these things to pass the test. But if you are a developer and you're thinking about creating agents and choosing models and stuff like that, then you would spend a lot of time in this portal. So let's go back to uh, the next in our guide. Let's go back to the next objective, and then we'll come back and take a look at the operate and discover section over here. The third and last objective in this module is secure and monitor AI gateway access. So securing and monitoring AI gateway access means controlling who can reach AI models and maintaining visibility into every request. The process starts by restricting network access with private endpoints or approved IP ranges, which is again, it's done on the Azure portal. Next, managed identities remove the need for store credentials and provide a stronger authentication, diagnostic login, captures key requests metadata such as caller identity, timestamps, token usage, response codes, and latency. We have talked many times about managed identity and key vault and all that stuff in previous videos. So if this is the first time that you watch this series of videos, or you know, uh, if this is the first time you come here and you're planning to take this certification, you have a lot of homework to do. But anyway, so Azure Monitor and Log Analytics help track requests volume, errors, and unusual activity over time. Alerts can then notify the security team when spikes, off hours usage, or abnormal patterns appear, enabling faster investigation and response. Let's now go back into the portal and take a look at some of these things when you are building an agent. Here we are back at the Microsoft Foundry portal, so we were before, and let's now click on the let's click on the build section over here. And notice how, once you click on that, there's a whole bunch of things that comes over here. But what I want to go is into the guardrails section. We're talking about this, different guardrails and safeties and stuff like that. And I don't know what that arrow it's about anyway, but it doesn't really matter. So here we have some guardrails, and we can click on. We're gonna go into one of these in a minute. Click on blocklists, that you could basically block stuff like profanity. You can create a whole bunch of things, and there's a new feature over here where you can add integration, basically meaning you can register and enable trusted third-party integrations to enhance the security of your agent workflow as part of the AI Foundry guardrails. But anyway, so if we go back to guardrails, and let's say that we click on create to create one of these guardrails, and let's take a look at the choices that we have when we do that. All right, so here we are, and we can, first of all, a guardrail is a collection of controls assigned to a specific agents or models. You can select and configure controls to add them to your guardrail. Some controls are added by default and may not be removed from your guardrail, and all those you need to do them. So if we look at this on the jailbreak section, we have the risk type, right? The intervention point, the action here, it's to jailbreak. User input, it's to block, and you could either block it or annotate. Another group is the indirect prompt injection, and if you click on, normally when you click on this, oh, there you go. So indirect prompt injections means malicious instruction hidden in external content. For example, you get a phishing email, and in that email there are instructions to hijack one of an agent that you may be working with and stuff like that. So that's what that is talking about. It could be in tools, in web pages, in emails, and this is a really big problem. As a matter of fact, this is one of OWASP top 10 for AI. Yeah, so there is an OWASP top 10 for AI, and for those of you who maybe planning to take also the CompTIA Sec AI Plus certification. There are many questions related to this. As a matter of fact, put in the comments if you, because that's another certification that I will be working, creating the videos for. But if you could put in the comments over there, if you would like to see that certification, that I would appreciate that. So we got indirect prompt injections, and again, that's what you choose there. And then you got content harms. So there is a lot of stuff like hate and sexual and self harm. This is all part of the content safety. That is used into Microsoft Foundry. We got protected materials. We have sensitive data leakage, and this is connected. You can connect Foundry. In other words, all of these things surface into Microsoft Purview, which is where we safeguard data. Anything that has to do with data protection, data discovery, and anything related to data security is in Microsoft Purview, which we have talked a little about it, but there's going to be several sections just discussing data security as we move along with this journey for the SC-500 certification exam. So we got sensitive data leakage, we got task drift, and what that means is that sometimes um, an agent is created with certain intentions, but as time goes by, the agent drift from the original, right? And then we also want to make sure that the agent keeps up with the objective for which it was created. And that's what it's talking about. And in terms of network controls only apply to hosted agents. Prompt-based agents and models won't be affected by these agents. That's what it's saying there. So network controls which external endpoints your hosted agents can reach, and basically add egress rules to allow, deny, transform, or rewrite outbound requests. All right. So again, a lot of information, a lot of protection that developers remember that Microsoft Foundry is basically for pro code. This is for developers. This is for people who knows about coding. But these are the kind of controls and things and guardrails that they can put into an agent when an agent is created. So um, if we look at the defense in depth method, what that means is that any agent that you use, it is important that you understand what security controls are built right into the agent. The other stuff that we're looking at, like Agent 365 and Defender XDR and Microsoft Entra, all of that should be on top of what the agent itself has been built in, with security in mind. So just wanted to uh, uh, clarify that. And with that, we're going to conclude this, at least the, the, the demo on this lesson, because what we have covered here, it's more than enough what you need to pass this certification exam. But as you know, when I create these modules, the intent is not just to pass the exam, but to have a broader understanding how all these things work and how to put these things together. Before I conclude this module, um, I wanted to go over this image here, which shows the AI gateway monitoring pipeline from model request to security response. So every request passes through the AI gateway, as we said, which is powered by Azure API Management, or API IM, APIM. Diagnostic settings determine which gateway logs are collected and send them to a log analytic workspace. So if you are working within Microsoft and you have Microsoft Sentinel, or you have a log analytic workspace, which if you are a Microsoft Azure customer, you would have, with this, security teams can then use the Custo query language or KQL to analyze request patterns and identify abnormal behavior. Logged data can include the timestamp, the caller identity, token count, HTTP request code, and latency, and all that stuff. Azure Monitor alert rules evaluate those results and trigger alerts when defined thresholds are exceeded. For example, if an application suddenly sends 300% more requests than normal, let's say at 2 a.m., Azure Monitor can alert the security team. Analysts can investigate quickly and determine whether the spike is caused by compromise, misuse, or an application retry loop before it consumes excessive model capacity. And with that, we'll conclude this module. But next, I'm going to show you where we are and what module we're going to be covering next. Looking at the study guide, the learning path for the SC-500, we are here. These are all the learning paths. We are on learning path number 7 out of 12 learning paths. So somebody asked me, there was a question in the comments whether the module 27 was the last. No, there are many more modules coming. And also the other question was, when will all these modules be concluded? Well, I don't have a definite time. My hope is that I will finish this in the next 30 days. This is a lot of work. I do this on my own, and I just do it as time permits. So, I will. I think that within 20 to 30 days, the entire course will be available. If you are starting, you have a lot of work to do. You have a lot of things to follow up. So, my hope is that if you're studying and you started from the beginning, um, you know, it's I would not rush into this. You need to really absorb all this content, depending, of course. Some of you may be expert out there and you're just reviewing some new stuff, but I will try to complete this as soon as possible. Anyways, so let's go into the this learning path. And on this learning path, we cover all that. Um, so this is where we are today, the configure and manage guardrails in Microsoft Foundry. So we have concluded that. Oh, actually, this is that video. Um, the next module we're going to cover is how to protect AI workloads with Microsoft Defender for Cloud. That's where we are, where we're coming next. And then after that is going to be the Enable Defender for AI Services workload protection in Microsoft Defender for Cloud. Then we're going to go to manage agents using Microsoft Agent 365, which is, to be honest with you, is the coolest of all this module. This is going to be really, I'm waiting for this because a lot of people are asking about, what is Agent 365 and what does it do? Well, it's coming. And then finally on this learning path is the identify AI data risks using Microsoft Purview data security posture management. This is also one of my favorites. So these two are my favorite modules in this entire learning path, and I'm pretty sure that it's going to be your favorites as well. Well, thank you, and I hope to see you next. Thank you for watching. Please remember to subscribe, share, and like the channel if you find this useful. Thank you.